What's going on, fam, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to take you through a push day in the dungeon. So if you're wondering what the dungeon is, it's just my garage, okay? It's been a running joke with my clients from back when we lived in Mississauga and through the lockdowns and stuff. Everybody would come train in my garage and it became labeled the dungeon. So you guys will be hearing more of the dungeon because now that we're out living in the county, a lot of my workouts are actually out of the garage, like at home, right? I will go into town every so often if I want, if I want to use some equipment or if I'm trying to do something specific. But I'd say like 75 to 80% of my workouts have been in the garage or the dungeon. And today I'm going to take you through a push day. And I actually ran out of pre-workout and energy drinks. So we're going to have, well, we already had une banane and just a little bit of coffee. It's a rough one today, boys. But we're gonna get it in, nonetheless. Okay, so my first exercise was the incline dumbbell press. And I'm on a bit of a higher incline here because it is a push day and I am hitting shoulders and triceps alongside of chest. And one of the biggest mistakes I see people doing with their incline dumbbell chest press is actually how they load the dumbbells. So if you noticed, I used my legs to load the dumbbells. Because what happens is, if you're just trying to lift up the dumbbells to position with your arms, you're putting a lot of strain on your rotator cuff. So with incline dumbbell chest press, I'll typically put the dumbbells, I'll start off with the dumbbells on my knees. And then as I retract my shoulder blades and fall back into the bench, I pop them up with my legs. And the next exercise was a strict barbell overhead press. One of the main cues that I tell all of my clients here is actually keeping a neutral spine and engaging their glutes. So I don't know if you caught that there. I actually tucked my pelvis to engage my glutes before pressing. So this does two things. Number one, it stops you from kind of using momentum from your legs because your hips are locked. Two, it actually protects your lower spine and keeps your spine in a neutral position because now your glutes are engaged, right? Too often, I see people's butts kind of pushed back and a lot of curvature happening in the lower back. And that's typically why a lot of people will feel kind of a strain in their lower back after doing strict overhead press. The third exercise was a flat cable chest fly. Now, this exercise is seemingly simple, but definitely not easy, okay? Because the common mistake I see here is people kind of rounding forward with their shoulders and not using the chest. So what I typically suggest is scaling back the weight and really focusing on form. So if you notice, I have a slight arch in my mid-back and my shoulder blades are retracted, okay? And my arms, the bend in my arms is actually staying consistent. So the cue I like to use here for this exercise is as you fly the cables, pretend you're hugging a tree or somebody very round, because that'll help you to maintain posture with your arms, your mid-back, and your shoulder blades. The fourth exercise was a dumbbell thruster, single arm dumbbell thruster, or a push press, whatever you want to call it. So this is, I don't want to say the opposite of the strict barbell overhead press, but you are getting assistance from your legs, like your lower half, specifically your glutes. So if you notice here, as I'm dipping down, it's a very slight dip. B, I'm coming straight down. So I'm not like pushing back and getting my spine out of alignment. I'm coming straight down, and then I'm using the momentum from my hips to actually push that dumbbell up. For number 5, we came back to the flies, except this time I'm doing an incline chest fly or a low to high chest fly. So the cues are gonna stay relatively the same as the flat chest fly, but something else you could think about while you're doing chest flies, any form, is where the muscle fibers of the chest actually run, and then keeping the movement pattern in alignment with those muscle fibers. So for exercises 6 and 7, I actually did a superset between dumbbell lateral raises and just bodyweight dips. Now, with lateral raises, you gotta keep in mind that your medial delt or your side delt is a very small muscle, okay? AKA, you do not need a lot of weight. Like I'm using 10-pound dumbbells here, and I'm just going for higher rep ranges, okay? Because that is actually what's going to stimulate the medial delt in a more progressive manner, right? Because if you're using heavier dumbbells, chances are you're gonna end up using a lot of momentum, swinging those dumbbells up, and you're not gonna effectively hit those medial delts. Now for bodyweight dips, the main thing I think about is when your lower half is behind your upper torso, you're gonna be hitting more chest. But if it's in line with your upper torso, you're gonna be hitting more triceps. And the last exercise of this workout was a cable rope tricep extension. So I typically save accessories like this for the end of the workout. I won't really add this in at the start of the workout because I'm just trying to prioritize the bigger muscle groups. So for cable tricep extensions, something I do to get a really good stretch out of my triceps and kind of stop myself from cheating is flexing my biceps at the top of the movement. And that concludes my push day in the dungeon. So if you noticed, I did quite a bit of volume, right? Like I had a total of 8 exercises and I was hitting anywhere from 3 to 4 sets, 8 to 12 repetitions for each exercise. And the reason I'm doing that right now is because of the mini cut, okay? So typically what I do in any sort of cut, whether it's a mini cut or like I'm actually prepping for a bodybuilding competition, on the front end of the cut, I'll start to ramp the volume up, okay? I'll pull back the intensity. I won't be lifting as heavy, but I'll ramp up the volume, okay? And then as I come down in body fat percentage and body weight, I'll start to increase the intensity and pull back the volume. Because then at that point, I'm just trying to sustain muscle mass. Because contrary to popular belief, you can't build muscle when you're like, in my opinion, 10% and below body fat percentage, you're not gonna be building any muscle, okay? So as I get leaner, I increase the intensity to try and retain as much muscle mass as I can. But anyways, thank you for watching my push day in the dungeon. If you liked it, then like it here too. And of course, subscribe if you wanna see more videos like this. I plan to put out at least, bare minimum, the goal is 100 videos by the end of 2024. So that'll trend about 3 videos per week. But for now, I worked up a hell of an appetite, so I'm gonna go muck some of my infamous egg rice, and I'll see you guys in the next one.